this is Michelle, and today we're going to be making a cool patterned name art. Alright, so here's some of the things that you need today. You need a Sharpie or a black marker, you'll need a pencil, a paper, and markers. The thicker one is better. You need about 2 or 3 different colors today. Alright, let's get right into it. The first step is for you to fold the paper in 3. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't try to make it perfect, and just fold it right there into about the 1/3 size of the paper. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's fine. Alright, after you've done that, we are going to use the middle part there. So please fold it back and have the middle part facing you. That's where you're going to be writing and drawing. And on this piece of paper, you're going to write your name clearly with some space in between the letters. So the reason why we're using a pencil here is because if you make a mistake, you can erase them and put it back again. Don't make them so big that it's blocking the whole paper, but also not so small because it's going to make it harder. Okay, the next step, you'll need either a black marker or a Sharpie. I'm just going to use a Sharpie here, and you're going to trace over the letters of your name. And here you can fix the ones if you made a mistake. For example, my letters were a little bit tilted. So as you can see, while I was rewriting it, I used it as like an outline and kind of fixed it on my way. And of course, because you wrote it with Sharpie, we're now going to erase it with our eraser and erase all the pencil marks just to make it a little bit neater. Okay. And after you got that part done, we are ready to move on. Okay. So as you can see, it's clean. My names are a little bit apart. Alright, you'll need, like I said, 2 or 3 different colors. You can choose any colors you want. I just decided to choose pink, purple, and red. Will blue? No. I'm just going to go with those 3 colors. Alright, now let's use these 3 colors. You can do 2 or 4, but let's not go too crazy. It's going to make it harder if you go more than that. So this is called patterned name art because you're going to be making a pattern with these colors. So what I found is that it's easier to start with the lighter color and go darker as you go. So I'm going to start with my pink, which is the lightest color I have. And you're just going to trace over your Sharpie or your black markers in a very thick way so that it has both sides with the marker clearly. Like I did just now, if it's too thin, just go over it once or twice so that it has enough of that color. If you've done your first pink or your first color, see, on both sides, move on to your second color. My second darkest color would be red, and I'm going to just trace it around it. So here is a little bit of a difficult part. So don't do it so thick that you're getting rid of the first coat of color, but gently just move around it. So you might need to take a little bit of more time in doing this. And also it's okay if you make a mistake. As you can see, my C was too big there, but I just went right ahead and colored it in. That's absolutely fine. You're going to do that all the way to the end. After you finish with your second color, move on to your third color. I chose purple for this, so let's go ahead and start with your third color, your coat. Same thing as before. Now you are tracing around the red, the second coat of your color, so around it. You're not overlapping it, you're doing it around. If you only picked 2 colors from the beginning, this would be the time you would go back to your first color and start with that again, and you're just going to alternate over and over again. Okay, so I'm using my purple, and you saw right there, and my H and my E are now very close to each other to the point where I don't need to fill it up. If that's the case, just bunch them around together and color it in and trace it around. Okay, now I finished my third coat, so I gave each color already. Now what you do is, of course, we're talking about patterns, so it's pink, red, purple. Move on to your pink, your very first color. So come back to your first color and do the same thing, but around the third coat now. And again, if you make a mistake, don't worry about it, just color it around it. And like I said, you can see that now it's getting easier because now it's bulkier and they're just now into a big clump. But don't forget about those little space in between. You still need to fill that up all the way. After you finished your first color, come back to your second color, so it will be red for me, and start coloring it all the way around. And of course, after you're done your red, you move on to your third color again, which would be purple. So now you can kind of see why I said the thicker marker would be easier for this project. If you chose or had only thin colors for this, maybe go and take your time to kind of color it in instead of pressing it down and wrecking the colors. You can just kind of make a bubble letter-ish looking by coloring it in. Okay, I'm already onto my third pattern and start coloring it in with my third pink. And as you can see, I'm almost at the end now. There's not a lot of blank space left. We're going to go all the way. For my younger students, this was a bit hard for them to do all the way, so I did tell them that it's okay to do it at least twice to make it into a pattern. I've also asked them to tell me what pattern that they created, which color pattern they created, in order for me to know if they understood the concept of patterning. Okay, so my second red, I think this might be my last set of colors. So it only took me 3 times of each colors to fill all the way up. It might take a little bit longer for some of you, which is fine. And it might take a little less for some of you, again, is okay. So now I'm on to my very last color, which is purple. Oh, I might need to color a little bit at the end. Okay. And as you can see, you can already kind of see the really cool pattern looking. It's very straight, like it's very like something you would see on the wall kind of looking thing. And with the very light color for me, I'm just going to start coloring it in the space. And I didn't want to get any markers on my table, so I'm going to get a scrap paper and just have it at the back so that we don't have any markers on our table. You can do this from the beginning if you want, especially if you're working with younger students. I asked my students after they finished their second coat to just decorate their backgrounds. Alright, and there you go. You have your very cool looking name tag. And here comes the reason why I asked you to fold it in 3. Now you can make it stand. And good job! You finished. Bye-bye. See you again.